The trash bag tore as I dragged it toward the curb. Rotten coffee grounds, old paper, the smell of things discarded. That's when Mr. Thompson rushed across his lawn, slippers slapping against concrete, eyes too wide for a man his age. He didn't say hello. He didn't breathe. He grabbed my arm like he was drowning. "Listen," he whispered, glancing back at my house. "I have to tell you something." I remember the hum of the streetlight, the distant bark of a dog, the way my pulse slowed instead of spiking. "When you're away for work," he said, voice shaking, "a man comes to your house every night, 10 p.m. He leaves at 6 in the morning, every single night." The words landed softly, too softly. I didn't ask him how he knew. I didn't ask who the man was. I just nodded, thanked him for taking out my trash with me, and walked back inside like my life hadn't just been split clean down the middle. Inside, my wife was on the couch, phone in hand, smiling at something that wasn't me. I told myself it was nothing, that Mr. Thompson was old, lonely, confused, but suspicion is a seed. Once planted, it doesn't need water. It feeds on silence. I started noticing the gaps. The way she showered late when I was home. The way she locked her phone screen down. The way she kissed me like muscle memory, not desire. I work out of town twice a week. Always have. She used to hate those nights. Now she barely noticed when I packed. The house felt different when I returned. Not messier, cleaner, too clean, like someone else respected it. I asked her casually one night if anyone had stopped by while I was gone. She didn't look up. "No," she said, too fast. The lie didn't sting. It clarified. That's when I decided not to confront her. That's when I decided to become patient. I installed the cameras myself. Small, legal, hidden in plain sight. One in the hallway smoke detector, one in the living room bookshelf, one aimed at the front door. I told her I had a business trip. 3 nights, important client. She kissed me goodbye like she was already relieved. I checked into a motel 2 miles away. At 9:58 p.m., my phone vibrated. Front door, motion detected. I didn't blink. At 10:01, she opened the door wearing the red sweater she never wore for me anymore. He stepped inside like he belonged there. Tall, confident, familiar in the way only repetition allows. I watched them laugh. Watched him hang his jacket where my coat usually went. Watched her lead him by the hand down the hallway. I didn't feel anger. I felt inventory being taken. At 3:17 a.m., I muted the feed. I already knew enough. I returned home the next morning before 6. Parked down the street. Watched him leave. He adjusted his collar in my driveway. Smiled at something on his phone. Walked away without looking back. When I stepped inside, she was making coffee. She jumped when she saw me. "Thought you weren't back until tonight." Meeting ended early. Another lie slid between us and died on the floor. I spent the day backing up footage, dates, times, faces. Then I did one more thing. I sent an anonymous email to the man's wife. Screenshots, timestamps. No words, just truth. The reaction came faster than I expected. That evening, I asked my wife to sit down. I placed my phone on the table between us. Pressed play. She watched herself betray me in silence. Her mouth opened, closed, hands trembled. "I can explain." "I know," I said, calm. "I've seen it all." She cried, apologized, reached for me. I didn't move. Then her phone rang. She looked at the screen. His name. She answered on instinct. I didn't stop her. All I heard was screaming on the other end. A woman's voice, broken, furious. My wife collapsed into sobs. I stood up. The next morning, I left the house early. Didn't pack a bag. Didn't leave a note. I went to the bank. The lawyer. The storage unit where I'd already moved what mattered. By noon, the locks were changed. By evening, her messages filled my phone. By night, I turned it off. I didn't want revenge. I wanted accuracy. And accuracy hurts longer. A week later, Mr. Thompson waved at me from his porch. I waved back. He didn't know what he'd started. But he'd given me the one thing I needed, the truth. And once you have that, everything else becomes disposable, including the people you thought you loved.